Well, Jindal Stainless Hisar, in fact, posted a rather good set of numbers, as well as Jindal Stainless. Both of them are differently, listed separately as of now. But as we already know, there's a merger that's in the works. So we'll speak to the management. We'll understand how was the past quarter, how are things right now, and what's the outlook for the remainder of this year. What's worked for them? Pricing has been good, volumes has been good, and also they're making more money, so they're using the money that they're making to repay some debt. Mr. Anurag Mantri, the Group CFO of the company, joins us now. Hi, Mr. Mantri. Thanks so much for joining in. Well, the second wave has caught everyone by surprise, and it's impacted various businesses. Can you quantify the impact that you have seen in the last month or so? And also, you normally sell more in the domestic market. Because of the impact we are seeing in terms of demand in the domestic market, have you changed your mix more towards the exports? Give us some clarity.
Yeah, so thanks, Nigel. So basically, as you are right, that second wave took everybody on surprise, and we also faced some of the challenges in terms of mostly into the logistic. Fortunately, demand side, we continue to see a good demand coming from the domestic market. So that remained very high, especially, and as you know that with the merger, we have now one of the largest product range of stainless steel products in the country, as well as globally. So it gives us the flexibility to switch between the markets. So and also the product segment. So depending on one product segment demand goes down, we can actually immediately switch to the different product segment range, and that takes us in our entire supply chain just 30 to 40 days. So those two significant changes help us to mitigate any sort of downturn in any of the markets. So with this strategy, we keep balancing between our export as well as the domestic market volumes. So we are right now increasing some of the export volume, because considering that the domestic market, some of the segment could go down. But right now we are not seeing much of the demand, because with now what we are seeing, we are recovering from the second wave faster, good vaccination drive. We are expecting that domestic demand to continue to remain strong. So we may again be overall on a year basis, we will again continue to with this almost similar sort of export and domestic mix. So overall, I could say yes, there were some challenges because of the second wave, but yes, since we are well placed to mitigate, and we will look forward to in terms of how we keep balancing our product mix into the segments as well as the geographical markets.
All right. Mr. Mantri, you said, wherever you see demand, you have that flexibility, and you can accordingly, push out products from the Jindal Stainless Group and address where there is demand. But if you could give us a sense in terms of exports, I think in the last, in quarter four, were roughly around 12 to around 15% for the combined entity. If you're saying that exports have moved up, what have they moved up to? Is it around that 20% odd mark? And for the year, you're expecting exports to still stay sub 15%? Is that correct?
See, Nigel, it's difficult to predict for the year. As I said, we will be completely agile in our business model in terms of, and we will not be geographically dependent. So good thing is that we have advantage. We are the approved supplier for most of the export markets also into the various part of the world. And largely our exports are into the US, Europe, and Russia, which are actually recovered from these waves very well. So if you see 3 years back, our export used to be say 30%, but when we saw the domestic demand coming up faster, we reduced our export to just 15%. This year, if the thing goes this way, I think we should have an export mix of 15 to 20%. That's what our target, because we believe the domestic demand may continue to be strong. However, having said that, the quarter could be a bit higher export, but as I said, that we have a 30 to 40 days to keep shifting, and we keep monitoring the various markets, various product segment very carefully, and to keep aligning our entire supply chain production lines according to that.
Okay, Mr. Mantri, I just wanted to get more color with regards to the domestic market. You are saying that you are still expecting the domestic market to probably be strong or recover, and things are not as bad in terms of the second wave. Can you just put some numbers to it? How much are you seeing in terms of growth in the domestic market in Q1 as compared to Q4? And what are you anticipating probably in Q2? Yeah, Mr. Mantri, is my voice reaching you?
Right. Okay, all right. Yeah, all right. Mr. Mantri, I hope I'm audible at least. We wanted to ask you in terms of. Okay, all right. Mr. Mantri, I believe we have fixed that line, so that's good news. Give us a sense in terms of your total volumes that you look at for the year. I'm just looking at last year, you did around 1.4 million tons. That's a combined entity. What sort of a number should you be looking at in this year? And also, I believe that you were looking at increasing your capacity. That's the broader plan. So by when are you looking to increase capacity? By how much?
Okay. So overall volume wise, we are looking at least 1.7 million ton at a combined entity level for FY22. So that's a good 22% growth. We are at least 20% growth in the volumes which we are looking. So having said that, I think you should note that the Q1 of last year was actually into the lockdown in the country. So overall, with considering all these factors, we are looking at least 1.7 million ton plus volume. Your second question was, Nigel, on what?
Increasing capacity. You know, you all have mentioned in the past that
So
you all are looking to increase
capacity-wise,
capacity.
yes, you are right. So with this, we will be reaching to a good capacity utilization, and we need to gear it up for the continuing catering to the domestic demand. So what we are targeting is that you would have seen we have delivered this. We are planning to add another 0.8 million ton capacity.
Oopsie. All right. We'll try to get you maybe on the phone line, Mr. Mantri. I think that line is playing up, but the broad sense that we got is you're looking at volume growth of close to around 20% for this year, and you're also looking to increase capacity by around 0.8 million tons or thereabouts. I'm not sure whether or not we could get you on the phone line as soon as possible, but that's the broad sense that yes, there are some logistic hurdles because of the second wave. But they're confident that they'll see a recovery from year on. Exports should remain in that 15 to 20% odd range, and volumes for the year should be around 1.7 million tons. That's all the details that we got. That's both the combined entity, and at some point of time, I don't know whether we can get the management back. We just wanted some clarity on terms of by when can we see this merged entity come about. I believe that we're not so lucky today. So for the time being, we'll slip into a short break. When you come back, we'll get you a call on the markets. Prakash Gaba will